Hey everyone, it's Matthew. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the school counsellor, and I've been asked to put together this session to discuss how you, as parents, can support your children's mental health while they're learning from home. While I'll be speaking specifically about learning from home, a lot of these skills and strategies are generally applicable, and I encourage you to use them to support your child even when on-site learning resumes. Last week, I received some questions about how to support your child when they're feeling low, as well as asking about managing anxiety in children. These are two important areas for even when we're not in lockdown. But something I've seen is an increase of children presenting with anxiety and feeling low because of the lockdown. I'm sure this is unsurprising to most of you because the same things that we as adults feel during lockdown can cause anxiety in children as well. But the cause of this anxiety can sometimes be different, and the solutions look different as well. I'm going to break up today's session into two parts. First, identifying low mood and anxiety, and second, how you can support your children with their low mood and anxiety. I'm going to start with important knowledge about a topic that can be difficult to discuss, but that doesn't make it any less important. And that is learning the difference between low mood and depression. As a parent, learning this difference is useful, and it's that lack of knowledge that's probably the number one reason I have parents contacting me in a panic. Low mood, generally speaking, is categorized as feelings of sadness, which is a normal emotion to feel. How your children present with their sadness will differ depending on their personalities, but they may present as tearful or worried, they might be more tired or angry than usual, and very commonly they may feel less confident in their own abilities. These are obviously concerns that warrant addressing, but they don't necessarily point in the direction of depression. Most of the time, these feelings are able to be resolved quickly after making small changes in their life, such as changes in their routine or removing the stimulus that was making them feel low in the first place. However, when a child is suffering from depression, these symptoms generally don't go away with time and can become overwhelming, stopping them from being able to enjoy the things that they would normally enjoy. Every child is different, but there are a few warning signs to look for that point towards depression. Generally, a child suffering from depression will experience these for an extended period of time, not just as a one-off or for a short period. These warning signs can include withdrawing from social situations, significant difficulty concentrating that is out of character, not wanting to do things that they previously enjoyed, constant irritability, frustration or anger, feelings of emptiness or feeling numb, feelings of self-criticalness or lack of confidence, significant disruptions to their sleep, including sleeping less or more than usual, feeling tired despite getting an adequate amount of sleep, eating less or more than usual, showing no interest in self-care, such as showering, and finally, wanting to self-harm or experiencing suicidal thoughts. If your child is experiencing one or two of these things, it certainly doesn't mean that they absolutely have depression, but it's important to keep an eye on them moving forward. If you're at any point concerned that your child does have depression, go and speak with your GP. So, we've identified low mood and depression. Now let's talk about anxiety. As humans, we all experience anxiety for generally similar reasons. Some of these reasons have been abundant in the last 18 months, such as experiencing lots of change in a short period of time, having new and unfamiliar responsibilities, being around others who are frequently anxious, having difficulties at school or work, and not feeling safe in our environment. These are things that affect all of us, regardless of our age. But children have a tendency to show their anxiety differently. Rather than the cognitive stress that adults are familiar with, anxiety is often shown physically in a child's body or through changes in their behaviour. These physical and behavioural symptoms include panic attacks, which can include a racing heart or quick shallow breathing, sweating or shaking, feeling unable to breathe, nausea, dry mouth, sweating more than usual, muscle tension, especially in the chest, shaky legs, irritable bowel syndrome, and unusual body temperatures. However, children can still absolutely experience cognitive symptoms of anxiety, which often present as consistent, scary, or negative thoughts, feeling overwhelmed by their situation, constant alertness, worrying about regular day-to-day activities, significant disruptions to their sleep, including sleeping less or more than usual, withdrawing from social situations, obsessive behaviors, eating less or more than usual, and wanting to self-harm. If you've been paying attention, the symptoms here are pretty similar to low mood and depression. Thankfully, the management for both can be similar as well. For most children, they won't be suffering from full-blown anxiety or depression, and their low mood and worries are likely brought on by the current situation. This is normal and expected given the current circumstances. There are obvious answers to what you can do to help them, like engaging in fun activities, but I'm going to assume you already know to do those. Instead, I want to focus on how you can help them emotionally, because while you're at home with them in lockdown, you're their counsellor, and that's something I have a little bit of experience with. So a great place to start is to try and open up a conversation about what's going on. The important point here is to not have this conversation in the heat of the moment, when your child's emotions are running high. Try to have this conversation when they're in a place of stability, and you'll get the best results. Most children are actually quite open to having this conversation, and considering you're their parents, this is probably something that you'll be able to engage with without resistance. You might start by letting them know that you've noticed they don't seem very happy at the moment, telling them that you're concerned in a caring and non-judgmental way. Often, children won't tell their parents that they're feeling down or that they're feeling anxious because they don't want to bother their parents. This is actually doubly true during lockdown because they can see you working and don't want to disturb you. If they don't want to talk to you in the moment you ask them, encourage them to either speak to someone else, and if you feel that it's appropriate, try speaking to them another day when they're in a better place. Once you've started the conversation, try not to ask too many questions or be too quick to fix their problems. The primary goal here is to empathize with how they're feeling and to show that empathy to them. Remember, even if you're their parent, they've still taken a risk in opening up to you. This is your chance to show them you're there for them if they need to talk. And the easiest way to do that is to listen. The solutions can come at the end of the conversation, where you can work together to come up with solutions. Even if you're doing 95% of the work coming up with solutions, make sure it's phrased in a way that includes them in the solution-making process. This teaches them that they can come up with solutions themselves, rather than teaching them that you will solve all of their problems. If you're on the receiving end of their frustration or sadness, try not to take it personally, and instead, view it as a sign of just how much your child trusts you, to be able to express those feelings to you even while you're the target of them. If you aren't used to having conversations with a person like this, where you're the target of their frustration or sadness, then I recommend having your partner or someone else you can turn to debrief afterwards. While the most important part is to listen and allow your child to speak, you also want to be weaving in 3 additional points into your conversation. First is asking them what is making them feel the way they do and why. If your child doesn't know, that's okay. This is your chance to teach them how to read their own feelings. I use statements like, I think if that happened to me, I would feel X. Or, I know other people who feel the same way when that happened to them too. This validates your child's feelings and makes them more likely to open up to you in the future. The second thing you want to start to do is to replace any negative thoughts or behaviors with more positive ones. With kids, this is usually easier than adults because they're less entrenched in their thoughts and behaviors. Discuss with them what they enjoy doing and encourage them to engage with those positive thoughts and activities when they're starting to feel down. You'll probably need to support them with this for a while and remind them that they should continue to engage with the activity that they enjoy doing and to stop engaging with the negative ones. Third and finally, reassure them at the end of your conversation. These feelings they have won't last forever. You know that, but they might not. So tell them. And tell them that you love them and that you'll always be there for them. For children who are suffering from anxiety, I'm going to recommend regular relaxation activities such as mindfulness, yoga, or meditation. There are thousands of great child-friendly relaxation activities available online, but my two recommendations are the Calm app by Headspace or YouTube because it's free. A worry box or self-soothe box can also be helpful, and they work similarly but in reverse. A worry box is something that works best with younger children and is a physical place where a child can put their worries to dispose of them. Some therapists even call this a worry bin. If you catch them worrying, get them to put their worries back in the box. For older or more mature children, a self-soothe box is great and works in reverse. It should contain positive things that allow them to engage their senses and allows their mind to focus on what it is that they've got from the box. When making a self-soothe box for the first time, I encourage people to put at least one item from every sense in there to make sure that you've got everything covered. For touch, I recommend Play-Doh or fidgets or stress balls. In my office, I use kinetic sand. For smell, this can be more personal, but some commonly successful scents include peppermint, lavender, and rose. For sound, music is great, but it should have a calming and steady beat to help focus your child with their breath, to keep things slow and steady. For sight, you might include your child's favorite movie, but I also encourage an item or photo that has a strong positive memory attached to it. And finally, for taste, you could include your child's preferred treat, but the best success I have people come back to me with here is actually water. It's cool and calming and has a strong grounding effect as well. Encourage your child to take regular sips rather than sculling the whole glass at once. I could talk about low mood and anxiety for literally days, and keeping all of this information condensed into one short session has been my biggest challenge here. If you have any further questions, let me know. I'm going to be running these sessions every week, so be sure to check back next week for more information on managing your child's mental health during periods of learning from home. This video is recorded, but I also run non-recorded sessions live on Mondays and encourage you to join in for our live sessions so that you can ask any questions that you might have about how to support your child and manage their mental health. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.